Horror Oren has a ruptured ribcage. Oren was killed by a Scandinavian method of execution called blood eagle. The blood eagle is when the victim is laid on their stomach prone, before having their back sliced in half and spread out like an eagle. Ribcages acting as supporters of the wings. Perhaps Black did this as a sacrifice to his god. Musical type: kick drum. Raddy was killed by hanging, after which his face and half his torso were torn apart by birds. Perhaps he couldn't stand the death of his friends and decided to hang himself. Musical type: snare. Clukr does not have half a head. From this we can say that his antenna runs through his entire body. Perhaps Wenda cut off half of his head with her sharp claws. Music type: ride, cymbal. Fun Bot hasn't changed much in the horror version. His face became sad. Perhaps he wasn't touched because he's just a kind robot who will never do any harm. Music type: drum roll. In the horror version, the vines on Vineria's head have rotted away and no longer bloom. The eyes are bloodshot and sticking out like snails. Her mouth is open like she's screaming in pain. Maybe it's what the radiation did to her. Musical type: kabasa. In the horror version, Gray hasn't changed much. His look became very frightened. Perhaps Wenda spared him because of her strong love for him. Music type: bass. In the horror version, the poor Brud has had a lot of bad luck. He had his head bitten off and his side bitten off. Simon did this after the transformation. Music type: chip noises. In horror mode, it was confirmed that Garnold was spring-locked. In other terms, his suit crushed him alive. Perhaps a large object fell on him and now he can't get out of his suit. Musical type: synthesizer. OWAKCX has the skin on his mouth as well as the lower body ripped off with his teeth being revealed. He may have been near the bomb when it exploded and started the apocalypse, and these are the burn marks. Musical type: cymbal crash. Sky has the most brutal death. In Sky's horror form, he appears to be impaled by 4 rods. One is through the middle of his skull to his chin, causing it to make her mouth open, one through his chest, one through his ear, which is likely touching their brain, and one through his left eye socket. Perhaps Wenda tied him up and took turns poking him through with iron sticks just because she likes it. Music type: music box. Mr.Sun's face has turned into a big eye. Perhaps he is involved in the apocalypse and has been hiding his true motives all this time. Music type: piano. Durple is similar to his normal version, with the darker horror shading. His eyebrows are invisible, his eyes are always wide open with larger than usual pupils. He has a completely blank expression. Durple was infected with the evil liquid and survived. Musical type: old trumpet. Jevin hasn't changed much, but his color is darker. You might think he has something to do with black, but the game's creator has confirmed that he's on the good side. Music type, male choir. Mr.Fun Computer looks similar to his normal version, apart from being slightly darker. When the apocalypse happened, he was the first to warn others of the danger. Music type, robot vocals. Mr.Tree in the horror version is a tree without a soul with a poster about a missing woman. The scariest part is that the woman is actually missing. On August 26, 2024, a certain McKenna goes missing in the state of Ohio. According to the ad, if you spot her, stay away and contact law enforcement immediately. Music type, organ. Simon's eyes are closed or missing, and instead has shallow depressions representing what had previously been left there. His mouth is enlarged and his teeth are visibly showing. Simon was infected with the evil liquid and survived. Music type, 8-bit synth. Tunner has a hole in his head. As you may remember, I told you earlier that Tunner may have a revolver behind his back. I assume that Wenda pulled the revolver and shot him. Musical type, whistling. Oh my god, I'm finally going to tell you about Wenda. I'm guessing that Wenda wasn't infected with the evil liquid. I think Black personally raised Wenda to gain her trust so they could bring about the apocalypse in the future. Wenda grew up violent and cunning. Wenda has a knife. Music type, repeated vocal. Pinki's face was ripped, revealing 3 crooked teeth with bloodshot eyes and nostrils. Her injury was caused by Wenda ripping her face off. Musical type, female choir. Black is the culprit of the apocalypse. Soon I will be releasing an apocalypse story based on my theory, so be sure to subscribe to my channel and stay tuned.